So I've been thinking a lot lately, and granted, anime is in a lot better of a position than it was, I would say, 5 years ago. I think 5 years ago, anime was in a really stale movement and didn't really have anything going for it too much. I think now anime, especially and manga, have kind of gotten a lot more notoriety between the return of Toonami and everything. I think it's definitely gone back a little bit up than what it was, 5 years ago. However, I really wanted to stress that I feel to a certain degree the popularity that anime had, mainstream anime, in the late 90s and early 2000s, ultimately mainstream anime failed. And one of the big reasons why I say this is that look at what's happening right now. What are the popular ones? What is one of the biggest ones right now at the moment? Dragon Ball Super. And you look at that and you're thinking to yourself, Japan was, and you can ask any voice actor, a lot of these people were saying the same things. They were looking for the next Dragon Ball, the next big series that's going to, replace Dragon Ball and be that, worldwide phenomenon, that national phenomenon that's really going to just take things to the next level. Naruto was supposed to be that, and unfortunately when Toonami got canned back in '08 and stuff like that, it just really kind of died off. I mean, it's still mega popular, but as far as it being the next Dragon Ball, it unfortunately, slipped short because it just never reached that level of popularity that Dragon Ball has. Again, don't mistake what I'm saying. Naruto is very popular, but it still never was the next Dragon Ball, where there's a big event for each one of them, but Dragon Ball is just a bigger event. So when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so Naruto was really the last thing that was competing to be the next Dragon Ball and that next phenomenon that people were just absolutely going crazy, and it failed. After that, nothing really popped to that position of Dragon Ball and Naruto, where older people will watch it, younger people will watch it, everyone was just really getting into it. And fast forward to today, and what is happening? We're going back to the series that was, mega popular back in the day with Dragon Ball Super, and that's where I feel as though mainstream anime failed. It failed to produce that hit that was going to really revitalize anime in the US and everything like that. And granted, there are the exceptions. There are some hits that come out, especially something like Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is kind of like, if I was to give you an equivalent, let's talk about music for a second. You know how there's the Eminems and the Jay-Z's that they've been around for 10, 15 years or whatever, and they continuously are really the only ones that are mega successful like that. And of course, you have the occasional Drake that'll come out. That's kind of like what Attack on Titan is. It's you have the occasional thing that'll come out and it'll be a pretty big hit, but it still isn't that level of success that Dragon Ball had. And at the end of the day, anime just isn't, on that prime time slot. And of course, there's other factors as well. It's not just that anime in general. I mean, at the end of the day, the fact that anime isn't on TV like that, it's only at midnight and stuff like that, it definitely is a big factor into why anime isn't as big as, it was in the late 90s and early 2000s. The internet played another huge factor, but that doesn't change the fact that if you look at nowadays, we're relying on the past. We're relying on series that are 10, 15 years old to still bring in some interest, like the Naruto's, the One Piece, the Bleach, Dragon Ball Z. And the newer series really just aren't bringing that type of interest and attraction. Again, there's the exceptions. Fairy Tail comes out, and Fairy Tail's pretty decently sized. And of course, we have that seasonal series here and there, like a Sword Art Online or a Tokyo Ghoul that'll garner some attention. But eventually, those series, they slowly die off and they kind of get forgotten. We don't have that one that everybody's just constantly craving more and more, like Dragon Ball Z. And that's honestly my reasons why I feel as though, unfortunately, mainstream anime failed. Does that mean that it's completely dead? Does that mean that anime itself has collapsed and, it's completely unsavable? No, not at all. Because at the end of the day, anime is in a better position than it was, even 5 years ago. It's got a lot more popular because of those seasonals that, explode or whatever, and because of the internet and word to mouth and stuff like that. So anime isn't dead by any means, but I feel as though from what it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, it definitely failed to produce that next Dragon Ball Z because we're going back to Dragon Ball to kind of gain more attention again. And that's my stance on the whole thing. Let me know what you guys think about that. First of all, if you just take a second to think, we're going back to series like Dragon Ball, and Naruto kept going for as long as it possibly could, and Bleach is still one of the last ones over here that is really, from the long runners or whatever. Do you think that mainstream anime failed for the most part? Do you think that even though we have these seasonals that come out and they gain mass attention like Kill la Kill and Sword Art Online, eventually they slowly die off? And then we're looking for the next thing. We don't have something that's stable that is going to keep on, oh man, everybody loves Dragon Ball Z, everybody loves Naruto. Your thoughts on that? But that's all I have for this discussion. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.